Hi guys, this is Hans the Great and this will be my video for my NL50 stake report. As I announced in the previous one, I was accepting applications for a while for this video, which is gonna be a hand history one. Anyway, a couple of guys applied and the lucky winner was Henry. Henry sent me a couple of hands of his choice that he thought are interesting or he found them interesting or tough from his regular stake, which is NL20 on iPoker. Anyway, as promised and announced alongside me today, the hand judge will be one of the best iPoker speed regulars, and his name is Brian. Thanks, Brian, for joining me today.
Hey Hans, thanks for having me.
No problem. I guess we're gonna have to use sort of like a non-conventional way because Hold Manager didn't kind of want to import the hand histories, and Poker Tracker just found half of it. So I guess since we're poker players, we're anyway used to adjusting. So I don't think there should be any bigger problem with this format that I choose. So basically, I think we can start. I'm one of us is gonna do um, the evaluation, and the other one is gonna give any additional comments if he thinks so. So I guess I'm gonna start first, right? If you're fine with
Cool.
it.
Yeah, I'm good with
Uh,
that.
so in the first hand, we're kind of playing the button, who is a 56-27 guy with a 3.5 aggression factor and who opens the button 54% of the time. And defends kind of 42%. So basically, he's folding for 58%. So Hero tends to 3-bet here from the small blind, which I think is fine. I don't think it's I prefer generally to take suited here, but I think it's kind of fine. Can go both ways in my opinion. Um, anyway, we go to a flop. Hero decides to check raise, which I obviously not really a huge fan of. I don't see a reason why we shouldn't bet here. I guess because his flop fold to raise is generally pretty high on the almost 60. So I mean, if I'm going to start check calling here, I'm obviously not raising. As played, yeah, I'm definitely calling the min 3-bet. I don't see myself folding, and yeah, I think you can push it on the turn. I mean, if you choose that line, in my opinion, then yeah, I don't think you can really get away, especially after the min 3-bet. I mean, you're getting pretty good odds. You kind of get yourself in a leveling spot. So yeah, I'm just making my life here easier with probably simply just c betting. I think still a ton of his range is gonna call, so I don't see really a point here in check raising. But yeah, do you have maybe something to add?
Yeah, I think there's two ways you could go about this hand. I mean, you could go into check call mode on the flop, but check raising is definitely overplaying your hand.
Yeah, it's just I think that Hero was like intimidated by his small sizing. I mean, the guy bet like less than 1/3 on pot on the flop, but in general,
Yeah, but that's somewhat standard.
I also think it's kind of standard. It's just that when I take the check call line, I normally like prefer to rather know how much the guy does barrel off, because if he's betting once and then checking down, I don't really see a point in check calling it. So if I take a check call line, I would rather like to know how much my opponent has some barreling off tendencies if I start showing weakness.
Right, true, true. But yeah, I definitely think if you're going to check, you're just gonna want to call. But
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, just betting down.
The other question is, do you fold to the min 3-bet on the flop?
Uh, I think at that point you probably have to call at least.
And once you hit trips, I don't think there's any other way to get out of the hand.
Yeah, but I think it's just one of those situations you're just making the hand harder for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, nice one. So I guess the next one is on you. Just let me come up with the stats. If you don't understand something, just let me know. Here you can see the
Yeah, sure.
stats. Just 1 second to scroll a little bit down. Okay, so it's your turn.
Okay. So let's see what happens here. Okay, well the cold call on the button is good. I don't mind it. Yeah, I guess when it's check two on the flop, there's not much point to bet. I mean, you're not gonna get weaker hands to call, so I'd probably just check behind. You know, you're fine seeing a king, you're fine seeing a club come off, but you're not really getting much value by betting.
The turn then is
I,
played.
the turn, I guess it's a check back. It's fine, but again, like you probably shouldn't have bet the flop, in my opinion. And then yeah, the river is pretty standard.
Uh, okay, I kind of think that betting and checking behind are fine simply because I think betting leaves a lot of options for you open if you won't ever, let's say, if you really want to think about turning your hand into a bluff. Because when somebody starts here check calling, I think pretty much the top of his range is probably something like ace king at the best. Although I think a fairly high percentage of the time this type of hand will probably check c-bet himself. So I think he's probably
True.
the top of his range is most likely a weak a6 that if you start barreling, you can probably get him to fold if he's somewhat reasonable player. I don't know, but let's if he's somewhat reasonable. So it leaves kind of your options open. On the other hand, checking behind your kind of pot controlling, so you just don't increase. But I also don't like is like the sizing on the river. I think it's like a little bit too huge. I don't think that the cutoff with the pre-flop aggressor has here anything really decent and can call more than a min raise here, in my opinion. Unless he's a leveler, then thinks that you're not wrapping much and you kind of turn the main hand into a bluff. But everything else, I think a min raise should be probably here a little bit better.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah, I think NL20. I think like more your line about checking behind the flop because yeah, it's somewhat hard to rely on people to maybe fold on a later street. To fold on a later streets in A6 here. So people rather call too much than fold too much. So yeah, I kind of agree with you most likely. Checking back flop and probably pot controlling the pots.
Yeah, I think I'm more likely to take a line like betting down if I had maybe king nine of clubs, something like that on the flop. I just kind of think having the queen 10, I want to go for more showdown.
Yeah, that's true. Although, yeah, I mean, we're not gonna get into the advanced stuff, so yeah. But yeah, okay, I find good. So next hand, we're isolating a limper and we get a call from the button, from the big blind, sorry. And big blind is most likely a donkey. I mean, 80, 60 after 25 hands, I guess, is a donkey, sort of like a recreational weekly player. And about this hand, I think as played, yeah, I mean, once you hit the 10, you're obviously not folding, and once you hit the king, you're obviously never folding. I mean, but what I don't like, honestly, is the float on the flop. I mean, I think it's either a raise or a fold spot, in my opinion. I don't see, because I don't see. There's no like basically if you have like the king of spades, I can understand more afloat because you can like raise it on the turn and try to rep a flush if it comes. But I honestly don't see a particular reason here to float with king high and no backdoors. So I just don't like here the call on the flop and yeah, as played on the river once he pot size bets. Yeah, I mean you could probably ship he's a fish. So yeah, I don't mind getting the 20 BBs more. Um, but yeah, I mean that's it in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like the way it's played, like the turn and river are standard, but the flop, there's no reason to really float there. I mean, again, with the king of spades or something like that, you could do something like raising the flop, but here I just don't see it.
Yeah, so yeah, I think the pot it's in the hand. The mistake in the hand is probably calling the flop. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Next one is on you. We're in a four bet pot. Oops.
Okay. Hand actually looks pretty standard. Probably just fold the river or shove the turn. But yeah, other than that,
Yeah, myself personally, I don't like really the full bet sizing. I think it should go a little bit bigger. No, it's actually fine. I just
well, we're in
miscalculate.
position, right?
No,
So
I just miscalculated. No, I thought it's a min raise. No, no, I actually think it's fine. It's just that I think the river is a fold. I don't shoving the turn is. I think the guy has to be a huge station in order to call there. Um,
yeah, that's true.
so if it's just let me see if you have some stats about him. Okay, not really anything important for the forehand. So no, I guess I would check back and probably fold the river. I mean, with such a size, he could value bet something like King Queen, so you can really get owned. Besides him having a 10 here, so I will definitely not call the river. And unless you have like a read that the guy is possible to turn something like Ace Jack into a bluff, which I also don't see fairly frequently. But yeah, I don't see
Yeah, and I
myself.
mean, just the fact that he called the flop, I mean, this board hits his range, right? So
Yeah, especially
it's
his
just,
four bet calling range, three bet
yeah,
calling range. I
yeah,
mean,
he'd have to be turning a made hand into a bluff. So I'd probably just give it up here.
yeah, I guess I kind of agree with you. The next hand, I guess it's one of the most scary flops. I'm generally pretty fine how I played. I don't think that I will play it any differently unless let me just check. No, I mean it's again probably a recreational player. His check raise flop is 5% after 3K hands. Whoa. Since it's a check min raise, I guess I'm calling and probably could even fold on this turn. I mean, again, half pot. I'm just like stationary against this half pot C bets. I mean, I don't know what to say. And yeah, as river is played, it's definitely a check. I don't really think we should turn here our two pair into a bluff against a recreational player ever. So yeah, I'm kind of fine. I mean, I don't hate the call on the turn for this sizing. If the guy would go for a bigger sizing, I'm definitely folding. I mean, but that's about it in my opinion.
Yeah, again here I agree with you. I mean, versus a bigger check raise on the flop, I might fold, and versus a bigger turn bet, I might fold again. But as played, I probably play exactly the same.
Yeah, I also think we actually get kind of lucky to actually see the showdown. And we
Yeah, for
sometimes
sure.
that's it's one thing that I learned with Gordon that sometimes we actually have to be happy how lucky we was to just lose only this amount of money in the hand because sometimes we just don't see it. But yeah, I kind of happy. Kind of agree how Hero played here. So yeah, congrats to him. Okay, now it's your turn. I already saw this hand. I think it's kind of a tougher one, but yeah, let me just bring up. Okay, hand six here. So we're playing a 27-20 guy, and for now he seems to be opening under the gun 11%. And fold to C bets and three bet pot 100%, two out of two occasions.
Okay, so I guess based on that, you could three bet. It's okay, but I probably would just give up on the flop. I mean, he's really tight and he's folded so far. So I mean, his range right here is pretty strong. As
Uh,
for the turn, I would bet, but after the check raise again, I'd probably just give up because I already give him a really strong range. And the
okay,
river, I'd probably fold.
okay, yeah, me as well. It's just that I was wondering, would you, what I did understand that you wouldn't see bet the flop.
Yeah, I just think I'm trying to three bet him to win pre-flop, and I think his range is just so strong. So
Maybe I
yeah, I'd
misunderstood.
maybe be looking for like a king to bet on the flop with, or Something a bit more scary.
Okay, maybe you misunderstood me because I said fold to c-bet in 3-bet pots 100% for now. So he seems
Oh,
to
what was the fold to three bet?
we don't have that. That's
Oh,
why.
okay. All right, I go back on that. Yeah, the flop C bet's fine.
Yeah, it's just
And turn is fine. It's just I'd probably call. No, yeah. And then fold the river.
no. I kind of agree with you. Um, what I saw in the replayer, he left some money behind. So when people do that, they don't go all in. I kind of always err on the side there and them actually having something. So if somebody plays me, always leave some money behind. Then I'm gonna buy your story better. But yeah, I mean, the only possible thing that bluff he could probably have here is something like ace four, ace five of or ace deuce of clubs, but that's
And
about it.
again, with the 11% open,
Yeah,
it's not
it's
really in his
yeah,
range that much.
yeah, I guess as well. So I mean, it's 131 hands, but I also think he's more likely, most likely on the tighter side. And I think as Hero played, I'm pretty fine with it. I don't think I would mind. I think I should bet. I think we should bet the turn a little bit bigger. Um, but and I also wouldn't hate if he would have folded already on the turn. But calling is fine in my opinion as well. We get like a decent price. And yeah, as River, I'm definitely folding myself. Yeah, I don't see under these positions too often a bluff. I mean, against 11% open raising range, it's hard to find a lot of bluffs.
Exactly.
Okay, so the next one, we are on the button. We face an open raise and a limp. I think calling is fine here. We could argue you can three bet. I'm generally more on the side to call the suited connectors pre-flop when there is a nicer raise already, because I think suited connectors are fairly good to for multi-way pots. So always nice, especially when there is a limper. I mean, dream scenario. Anyway, we hit kind of decent. I mean, it's pretty much like top pair on this board texture. So it's not that awesome, but it's still fairly good. So I think the double barrel is pretty standard to call, I guess. The question is on the river, what sizing should we use? Um, I think if the opponent has here an overpair, I mean, by betting the river, we're definitely targeting a club. I mean, a spade. Sorry, I mean, what the fuck am I saying?
Right.
We're definitely targeting a spade, and I mean, given that um, people are in these takes pretty cally, and people like to find a reason to call, I would bet here a little bit bigger because I don't think he's gonna fold ever an overpair with a spade. That's my first thing. Um, and second of all, because he's people like to put you, for example, here on like king 10, you kind of missed your open ender and now you're bluffing or something like this. I think in general people are more cally. I think I would choose like here a bigger sizing, a 12, 13, and I think he's either gonna call and he's not. I mean, I don't see people folding a lot of flushes in general, so yeah, that's why I most likely will bet here like $3, £3 more, and yeah, hope for a hero call.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so for pre-flop, I definitely would call. I mean, you're going to get to see a multi-way pot in position with a fish. As for the flop, yeah, again, that's just a call. Turns pretty standard as well. And yeah, I would probably just shove the river because your versatile range, that's either check calling or check folding. So, yeah. And we only have about, what, 14 $13 behind. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. You're probably right. Didn't even stop pots stack size ratio. Yeah, if you have 13, then yeah, that's almost close to my sizing. Yeah, we're definitely then. I would just definitely shove. I don't think there is a point here betting nine. If he's gonna call 13, he's gonna if he's gonna call nine, he's gonna call 13 because he either has the flush or he doesn't. So
Yeah, for sure. He already has the plan that he's either check calling or check folding.
yeah, exactly. So yeah. Good that you noticed. Okay, and that's I guess the last hand of the day. I guess Hero is asking what would be your line here. Wants to opponent call in the three bet pot here, and you're in position and have to decide here what you set.
I would play it just the way Villain did, or Hero did, sorry. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, the board's wet, we have a set. Raise. It's, it's a multi-raise pot.
you would never go for a call here.
Not that I would never, but it's just probably more profitable just to raise and get some action here.
Okay, I guess you're probably right. Yeah, just that I'm thinking myself, if I'm three-way here and this positions call me and then somebody goes over the top, I'm not too happy getting my queens here. And so, yeah, I think Hero played as well. Yeah, sizing, I guess I would choose rather a bigger sizing. This looks a little bit too nuttish to me, but yeah, maybe it's just me.
Yeah, I mean, you might fold queens, but the majority
Majority.
of regs I don't think are. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with raise here.
No, I'm just a nerd, so so yeah. Anyway, I hoped Henry did like our evaluations, and you guys as well. Thanks for watching, and take care. Bye bye.
See ya, guys.